Welcome to the Semi-Toxic Podcast. There is worse things for you out there. My name is DeadSlayer.
I'm Marigold.
Okay.
We wrote topics and the host, that's me, will pick them using a random generator. Today we'll be talking about food, glorious food.
Uh,
Yay?
yay.
This topic is just either food you're curious about, food you're interested in, food you would not touch with a 10-foot pole, and slash or your ideal perfect meals.
I hate
Doesn't
bitter
have to be a
melon.
last meal.
I hate
You
bitter
hate?
melon / winter melon. Do you guys know what that
I don't
is?
think I've tried that.
Oh, well,
It's bumpy, right?
yeah, it's bumpy. Well, yeah, I don't really care if it's bumpy, but it looks
There,
almost like a
there was
pickle.
there was bitter melon at one of our farmers markets, and my grandma and I were going to try to figure out how to use it, but then it rotted before we could.
It's
Oof.
disgusting. Like, I'm sorry. Like, it's really big in Asia. And I always see, and they always have that. Like in my family gatherings, we always have some, but I absolutely hate it. Like, I even had one of my uncles. He drowns it and he like marinates it in vinegar, and I like vinegar. It's in a lot of our dishes. So like so he did it. And I still didn't like it. Like, honestly, like I was so pissed off just the other day. I wanted to order like this huge yakitori. So it's like fried. It's not fried. Like shish kebab. It's like shish kebab, where you just have a whole tray of different types of shish kebab: onions, vegetables, beef, chicken skin. Like a lot of good stuff. And
You go
but the
for
the final one was bitter melon, and I'm like, ooh, no, no.
I'm upset. All the kebab places nearby are incredibly expensive. It'll be like each kebab is like $9, but that's like per skewer, and the
Oh
skewer will have like
man.
5 pieces of food on it,
Oh,
and
like
they're
Oh,
like
big?
as a standard kebab. So it's like a chunk of meat will be like an inch by an inch, if that.
That's
I think that's
bullshit.
like before they cook it. So
that is
when it
bullshit.
shrinks when you cook it.
For
So yeah,
our
and that'll be like $9 for like
Uh,
almost 5 inch like total slices of meat, and a
speak
lot of it's probably onions.
Speaking of shish kebab, do you remember the deep fry oil nights that our grandma used to do for us?
Oh yeah, oil
oh,
fondue.
Oil
oil
fondue, yeah.
fondue?
Basically,
Basically,
like you explain it.
basically what she'd do is she'd like cut up some meat, like steak or whatever, in little
Yeah.
cubes, and then a bunch of like vegetables, and then put
Uh-huh.
out like oil in like a fondue pot and like heat it up, and we get little sticks, right? And we'd put it on our skewer, and it was a surefire way to get us to actually eat vegetables.
Ooh, I can
First of
feel that
all,
night. I can feel
Especially
that
because
night
she
in my
made like a
skin.
batter, so
Oh,
they
she
could
made a
like bread
batter.
it.
That's
yeah, there are batters too. I didn't usually use the batter. I usually just like dunked it in,
I
but
use the
it
batter
was
for the
fun.
veggies, for the most part.
yeah, I find that
Usually like the mushrooms.
I used to find that very southern, but they do that here in Japan a lot. They fry everything. It's actually so weird. I saw this video about this dude. He's like, I'll teach you how to make fried egg, and he didn't mean fried egg like I thought fried egg was. I thought he meant
Well, now
like,
I'm
Did he like
curious.
just
Share with the class.
duck a
yeah.
full egg into oil or what?
Yes, no, I thought fried egg is, yeah, you crack an egg into a little bit of oil pan, and then you go back and forth until you have a nice. It's kind of like over easy, but with a little bit of oil, right?
Yeah.
No, he straight up like cooked a little bit of the egg, battered it, and then put it in like the oil, and then like took
Well,
it
that's
With
certainly
or
an
without the
interesting
shell?
way to make.
without the shell. Yeah, so
Okay.
obviously, yeah, that'd be really weird if you do it. I don't think anyone's
Yeah,
that
I was
weird.
thinking a deep frying like an egg, just like hard boiled egg, but in
That's what I
oil instead
thought
of
too.
water.
Because
Yeah,
like
that's what
that's
I was.
like I've seen, it's like a Scotch egg, right? That's almost a Scotch
I
egg,
think so.
but a Scotch egg has
I
like
don't
meat
know.
around it or
I
something
only
like
eat
that,
scrambled eggs.
right? Well, Scotch egg is like a hard boiled egg with like meat around it, and then like a what do you call it?
Meat
Like a
around it.
dough, and then you cook it. And it's really good,
Oh,
right? Yeah, it's really good. But like he literally just like fried an egg, like fried the egg the way I thought of it, and then put batter on it, and then and then blanched it, right, and then put it in more egg because
got an
that's what
egg,
you
then
got
he
to
cooked
do.
it, and then he
Yeah,
cooked it,
in
and then he
more
kept
egg.
cooking it,
Yeah, he literally
and it
cooked the
just
egg in
kept
more
going.
egg, and then like it's just this big chunk, And he's so funny because he literally goes like, "It's like gonna put he gonna." It's like, "Okay, now I'm gonna put some Zippy Zap," and he puts like a bunch of hot sauce on it. It's just
What's a
amazing.
zippy zap?
It's actually a really good hot sauce. It's not too
I
bad.
should try it.
Yeah, I like
I
hot
remember there
sauce.
was this
So.
Melinda's Nagajalakia hot sauce that I really liked, and there was a garlic variant of it,
Ooh,
and it's like
ooh,
incredibly spicy.
yeah.
Like I just a few drops was enough for me, but like I
Oh
eventually was
God,
using it enough that I was developing more and more of a tolerance for it, and so I'd be
yeah.
adding more and
Nice.
more to the point where my eggs in the morning would be like orange, like
Oh,
sunset
nice.
orange.
Oh yeah.
And then there was a time where I made myself breakfast. I set it up at the table, and my grandpa was reading the paper at the table, and I turned around to get myself some coffee, and I hear choking and like
Oh
gagging.
God.
I look back, and he's sweating bullets. His face is completely red, and he's having trouble breathing. He's like, "You really like that hot sauce, don't you?"
What makes
he
that even more impressive is that our grandpa really, really loves hot sauce in his own right, and most of the foods he ate was way spicier than like anyone else. So like the fact he managed to outspice our grandpa is an achievement.
I mean, I wouldn't consider it too much of an achievement because his hot sauce was Tabasco.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I like Tabasco.
Yeah,
Well, it was
I like the
a
taste.
so
lot of
he
it,
did
mind
like
you,
Yeah.
but
Tabasco a lot, but he also would get like pho and then make it like super spicy with the hot sauce they like gave you. He would request like extra. And then
Mm.
I remember one Thanksgiving he tried to serve it as like a side dish and literally only he and I could eat it.
do
Yeah.
you remember when you, mom, and I went to a Thai restaurant and you saw the spiciest thing on the menu? It had like four peppers by the name, and you asked for
It
that
sounded
extra
good.
spicy because you
I
had
did
been
not
eating a
ask
lot
for
of
extra
banana
spicy.
peppers, and
I did not know.
Banana peppers
That
are
did not
way
happen. No.
different. Yeah.
That did not happen. He's remembering that wrong. I did not ask for extra
probably
She's
spicy.
got she got pepper craziness.
What
She
happened is
pepper
that like
amnesia.
they asked no.
they had to
What
ask
happened was
verification.
yeah,
Are
they
you
asked
sure you want this?
verification and then like no, stop it. I'm trying to tell the story because you're telling it
Never.
wrong.
Well,
They like mom's like I ordered it. Mom's like she's like yeah, give her American spicy. He's like no, wait. I want to see if I can handle it. He said not
Oh
American
boy.
spicy, and I could not handle it.
When you
that's probably
say
what I misremembered as extra spicy was just like we can make it as you guys normally like it, and then you're like, no, make it worse.
I find American spicy a
Yeah,
really
pretty much.
funny term because most people who like real spices in America like are still American, but we're not white. So it's so I don't know. I
No,
don't know what
that's
American spicy
fair.
means. Like
American
Mexican
spicy means the
Americans.
cheese you get in
Yeah,
Wisconsin.
but
American spicy means when you say American spicy at like a restaurant at a restaurant that like serves like to the general American public, they will make it like less spicy than if they were to serve to somebody who they thought was not American.
I still find that really funny. Like it's like Mexican Americans, I have debatably spicier food than Mexico. So it's like,
Yeah, it's weird.
it's
I don't
weird.
know how it works,
Yeah, and
but it
they're
does.
American. It's so weird saying American spicy. It's like let's just say it for what it is.
White people spicy? Sure.
It's like honey, I put best foods on my white bread. That's spicy.
Oh God, I hate white bread. Anyway,
Actually, it's really funny. So like in my family, I don't know why this is, but like Filipinos are left and right about spiciness, but no one in my family, my entire extended family, likes spice except me and my little cousin and me, because and it's so fun. It's so weird that like we were hanging out, and she's just like I'm like she's watching TV and I'm like, hey, how about we get some really spicy chicken wings? And she looks at me like I'm actually the devil, and she's like, are you sure that's okay? And I'm like, what do you mean? She's like, we won't get in trouble. I'm like, what are you talking about? She's like, but
why would they get in trouble?
no. And I'm like, no. She's not that young. Well, she's like 17 now, but she was like 15. I'm like, what do you want? And I brought up like the local chicken wing place. And she's like, well, that's really good. And she picked really spicy ones, and I'm like, I like that too. And straight up, we got like the spiciest ones and stuff like that. And she's like, are you sure about this? I'm really worried I might get in trouble. I'm like, what do you get in trouble for? She's like, I don't know. I just feel like this is bad. And I'm like, what? Okay.
I feel bad for your cousin. I'm glad she got to eat spicy.
Yeah, because she loves like it's because I think it's because like they never cook because obviously everyone cooks as a group. She never goes out to eat by herself. It's kind of they have their way of raising her. So I'm not gonna get into that. But basically,
That actually probably
yeah.
could be it because if you're
Hmm.
cooking for people, then if you try to put hot sauce in it, everyone's going to be immediately like, no, you might not want to do
Exactly,
that because you're cooking for everyone.
exactly.
So
So
that
she only
might
gets
be
hot
where she gets
sauce.
the misconception.
Oh no,
Just,
definitely, yeah.
maybe that was just it.
But
Yeah,
she has
yeah.
hot
We definitely
sauce.
have to tone it down every time we have guests
Hmm.
over.
Exactly, she only has hot
Exactly.
sauce, and but
Because
I
and
just
she's not
bring
used to
Tony
that.
Shastraight to the table.
And that's the big thing. It's like
oh,
I know how to I know how like she's just not used to cooking anything spicy. Now I cook spicy stuff for myself, but obviously when I'm with other people, I don't cook spicy stuff for everyone, and she's just not used to that. And so
yeah.
she thinks she's like breaking like they buy her spicy snacks, but that's she's the only one who can eat them.
Yeah, like
And yeah,
I would cook with like a lot of hot sauce and like because I like a bite.
yeah.
But then like the possible recurring characters in many of my stories, Spearhead and Barbarian. What was the other name we came up with them?
Beer boy.
Spearhead and Barbarian. Are you talking about
What
the
it
smallest
was
one?
Barbarian? Yeah.
Oh, the berserker dude.
Small
Berserker.
Yeah, berserker.
Berserker.
Spearhead and
Yeah,
Berserker.
Spearhead and Berserker.
It would
yeah.
be like
The little dude.
I would make ramen with hot sauce for myself and
Oh,
for Spearhead,
yeah.
but then with Berserker, if there was a moment where the ramen was too spicy for him
Uh,
because I added black pepper.
oh, that
Yeah,
was too
he added
spicy.
considerable. Yeah,
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
salt and pepper was too spicy,
Oh,
and
that happened to
There's
my
a reason I just bring Tony Shastraight to the table.
that happened to my uncle. Like
that would
he
absolutely be too
like
spicy for him.
someone was cutting what do you call it jalapenos, right? They're pretty tame.
Yeah,
And
they're
then
pretty
like
mild.
and then
Fine, I don't like the flavor.
he picked up the knife. I like both the flavor. I like fresh jalapeno flavor, not pickled jalapeno flavor, but I like fresh jalapeno.
Yeah, pickled sucks, but like
Yeah.
fresh is good.
Anyway, he cut a cake with it, and he licked the knife, and he just started
Oh.
sweating his brains out. And I'm like, Uncle, what's wrong? He's like, I don't know. I'm like, oh, that's the knife someone was cutting jalapenos with, and he's like, and I'm like, you allergic? He's like, no, it's hot, and I'm like, what?
Oh, they were selling like ghost pepper, like the ghost pepper plant at Walmart like a few months ago. And it took
Ooh.
everything I had to not buy it.
Oh,
Like I
I
am
love
not
ghost
that
peppers.
spice
Coward.
level. Oh, it's and Carolina Reapers too. They had
Oh,
Carolina
okay.
Reapers. It's just like
How were you originally
oh.
pronouncing that?
Carolina.
No.
Carolina Reapers. It's Carolina, she has her own Reapers.
And I'm leaving. It's been nice having you on the podcast. Bye, everyone.
Oh my god, this is actually really funny, but like, so I'm not gonna say exactly, but like, I went up to Northern California, and there's a
How
school
dare.
there that we were having a seminar in. We were joking about spices, right? And there was a burger called the Hotter Than Hell burger, and I'm like, oh, this is
Ooh.
amazing. So I tried it, and it was great, but it was not very spicy. And I'm
Oh,
like,
I hate when that
Is
happens.
it
That happened
spicy
with me
because they use cheddar
with the
cheese
hot
instead?
that's
ranch.
what I'm saying. It was great. Like the sauce was amazing, but it wasn't that spicy. And so I'm like, this is a great tasting burger, but who is this spicy for? Like, who's this hotter than hell for? Like, it was spicy, but it was like jalapeno slash maybe chip like no Chipotle is just a jalapeno. Maybe what's
Like the
one step
Popeye
higher?
spicy chicken sandwich?
No, it's like one step higher than a like a habanero level spicy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Alright.
it's spicy.
Something similar happened to me. Like
Yeah.
I was in Bahrain visiting my mom. There was a Burger King there, and like they offered like this super super spicy like chicken sandwich. I was like, oh wow, it's been a while since I've had anything like really spicy. I ordered it, so mild. Couldn't taste anything. I was like, why?
It's weird, like here in Japan, like when you see spicy, that either means it's not spicy or it's extremely spicy. I don't really
So it's a roll of
understand.
the dice every
It's a
time.
roll of the dice. It's like it's either extremely spicy, and I think the ones that do get it right, are, like the Indian places, and it's really funny because they'll have like 1 to 10 level, and then they'll have like 10 to 100.
Ooh.
Yeah, so
I mean, I'd probably say below 10,
I
but
don't understand how that works after 10 because 10's pretty spicy, but then they're like I don't understand how they do how they work the scale, right? Like 1 to 10 is extremely different, but then 10 to 100 is not extremely different. So I'm not quite sure how the scale works. It's like they just put in like a whole bag every time of spices.
yeah. Well, changing tracks from like food we like, I did eat fermented tofu once for like
Oh,
one of my anthropology classes.
yeah.
Do
How
not
was it?
recommend. I do not
I
recommend.
love fermented tofu. I don't like
Well, I'm
smelling
glad you
fermented.
enjoy it.
I don't like
Describe
smelling
it
it.
besides do not recommend.
It's like a sour tofu.
No.
Ugh.
The worst thing about it is the smell. To be honest, that's how that does get me off a lot of things. Like I don't like natto, which is fermented soybeans. It's basically the same thing, but the
Yeah, I don't
texture
like
for me is the
fermented anything, I
difference.
found.
Really? Okay, that's a shame.
Yeah, like I don't like wine. I just like don't
I
like
don't like
anything
wine
that's
either.
fermented.
I don't like wine
I
either.
I
mean,
don't like
soy sauce is
pickles.
fermented.
You don't like
I don't like soy
pickles?
sauce.
You don't like
No,
pickles?
I
Wait,
hate pickles.
Oh,
did
I
you
that's
don't
say
like
you
great.
pickles.
don't?
That's amazing. You
Did
don't
you
like
say you don't
any
like soy
fermented.
sauce?
No, I don't like soy sauce.
Oh wow.
What?
You really don't like anything
Yeah, I just
fermented at all.
I don't like fermented things.
Yeah.
It's rotting,
I mean,
essentially.
yeah.
It's not rotting, it's edible.
Aren't hot sauces fermented too?
They are. That's I'm
Eh,
surprised.
that's something.
Yeah, most of them are.
Okay, so I like hot sauce, but like
Yeah.
other than that, I will say the pickle thing. I did like hate just only pickles, but was fine with most other things that were pickled until one Christmas where like there was a 24-hour bug going around the family. You know how it
Yeah.
is, and I at the time had a habit of just like eating jars of pickled peppers as snacks, and
A pint of pickled
yeah,
peppers,
all of that
pickle.
yeah, all of that came out my nose.
Oh,
Oh,
well,
And
that's
I've never been able to
disassociation.
like
Yeah.
yeah.
yeah, ever since then if I smell something pickled I get faintly nauseous.
Okay, that's fair. That's a good reason why that would be. Because that's a shame. Like there's a lot of like there's a lot of good pickled food. Like is here around here there's more pickled foods than there's fresh foods here. They're really
Yeah,
good.
there's a reason for that. Pickling stuff is a great way to preserve
Yeah,
stuff, but
and
like
it
ever
makes it
since
taste
that
great.
Christmas.
So is fermenting, isn't it?
It is. Oh, that's basically the same. Like almost the same. It's all
Hmm.
animalized. Yeah, it's aging. But I know what you mean with
Yeah.
some like the one that got me. And I don't know. Again, I think I got this from a manga, but then I looked it up and it was real. But apparently, like one of the way like there's a fermented food where you kill like a seal or a walrus or something, a big
Oh yeah.
yeah,
Right.
and then you get a bird, a seabird, and you put it in the carcass and then bury it for a couple months, and then when you take it out you slurp what's inside the seagull out of its ass.
That feels like a waste of like the seal carcass.
I
Like
heard
I
you
feel like you
bite
could
off
get
the
a lot more
head.
meat
No,
just
no, no.
eating
They
that.
they don't just no, they take what they can from the seal as well.
Okay,
They don't
okay.
waste the seal
Okay,
carcass
that
because
makes more
yeah,
sense.
that
Yeah.
would literally be wasting a lot of stuff. But the thing is that it's because the it's the only way to get those nutrients, the amount of nutrients. That's actually like a big thing for like northern groups. Is that with new
How
Where do you
did
get
technology?
they
the
figure
nutrients where you
that
have
out
it?
is my question. Who was the first person to stick a bird in a
That's
carcass
a
and
lot
bury
of
it
the.
for
That's a question with aging anything. It's like
Mm-hmm.
you have spoiled milk that's becomes
Curds,
solid, and
yeah,
then they're
and
like,
curds and
"Hey, I guess
yogurt.
we have cheese."
Oh yeah, that
Like, what the
too.
hell is cheese? Whatever the hell this is, I guess.
There's this thing in
who was the
in
first person to
Scandinavia.
suck seal ass is my question.
Well, you mean as a
Not
sport
seal
or
ass, seagull.
seagull?
Oh, seagull ass. Who was
But
the first person to
but
suck?
I thought
it's
they
but
bit
it's
off the
only
head and
after.
slurped the juices from that.
That's one way to do it too, but I think like the best way to get it is to get it out of an orifice that isn't the mouth, because I think sometimes they seal the. I don't know. I'm not an expert in it. I only
It
know what I
doesn't
looked
have a
up.
lot of birds don't have a lot of orifices
I
besides the
heard of that
mouth
on
and
They don't have more than
Distracted
you.
podcast. They mention it.
Oh, they did really.
Yeah,
Oh, okay. I didn't
they
know
mention
that.
it's actually like a delicacy in some places. Like they'll have it for like birthday parties or like
well,
special
I
yeah,
don't.
like
events.
it takes months to prepare. I'm not surprised
I
it's a
don't.
delicacy.
The idea is it's not supposed to be a delicacy. It's supposed to be a supplement, because in a lot of places people really do adapt to the environment they in way more heavily than people think. And so there are people up north
Yeah,
who
no,
like
humans are
with
wild.
regular food they just can't sustain themselves. I mean, slowly they are, but a lot of them need supplements, like because a lot of them are used to eating blubber, and they can't because of regulations they can't use as much blubber as they used to, and so they don't. So in order to get that kind of stuff, they need extra supplements in order
And
to
there's also
survive.
the kind of like the opposite end of that spectrum where they'll also like take things that like they'll try eating something, find out you can't digest it, and they're like, "Okay, we can't eat this." And instead of leaving it at that, they will turn it into something that you can eat because by
True.
God are they going to eat it. And that's how we
Yeah,
have
no, humans are
that's how we
amazing.
have bread, isn't it?
Like,
It's like
Yeah, that's
because like
how.
okay, we can't
yeah,
eat this, but if we process it this way and then we do that and then this and
Yep.
this and then that, then we can have this really complicated
That's
thing
exactly how
and
bread.
then we can
Yeah,
eat
any type
that.
of bread. Yeah, bread.
yeah, like how we discovered bread is also a mystery because like that's so many steps.
Well,
Exactly.
it's not because there's primitive bread,
Like
which
obviously
yeah,
there were intermediary stuff,
Yeah,
there's
but like
dough. That's pretty. That's not
yeah,
very.
yeah.
That's
primitive
pretty primitive.
bread
You
was
just
basically how it
ground
happened.
stuff up. Yeah, exactly. And then
Where the
But
question
like,
is just
how
okay,
we made
let's
it
talk about like
rise.
acorns. Like acorn dough.
Yeah,
Like
acorn dough.
acorns, if you don't like leach them out first, are poisonous. You can't eat them.
Yeah,
You gotta like leach them in a river for like a few days or whatever. Like, who was the first to discover like if you soak this, it will be fine to eat?
I mean that's just it's experimentation over time. I mean, we've been around for a lot of time.
Yes,
Humans,
but like the
yeah,
experimentation
yeah.
might involve someone dying or at
That's what
least getting
happened. I mean,
sick.
that was that. I think that's what they say that like people die because like it's one of those things that like how did we find out that certain poisons are good for you in certain doses, right? Like
I mean that's kind of the thing
hmm
because that depends on your definition of a poison because caffeine is a poison.
yeah, or like it's just like that.
Some plant Something I learned in my chimpanzee class, some plants create extra estrogen in an attempt to kill whatever's eating it
Yeah,
slowly over time.
Estrogen
So
isn't that like the
estrogen,
isn't that
y-
basically the
yeah, the
it's a
hormone.
feminine
Yeah, so
hormone.
like
yeah.
Yeah,
estrogen is a poison.
Hmm.
Take notes, ladies.
I mean,
Huh.
estrogen and testosterone are just in your body as it is
Is
too.
testosterone also a poison?
Yeah, but like
Testosterone,
they try to make it
testosterone is actually really bad on your
if you
body.
have too much, yes, which is what the plants are trying to do. They try to you already have estrogen obviously because you already produce it. Males produce it too.
Yeah,
But the plants try to get you to basically overdose on
yeah.
it.
That's how they got hormone therapy. So testosterone, yeah, testosterone is actually really hard on your body. It actually it makes you more it makes you more aggressive and use your energy more efficiently. I think it is, but it's really hard on your system and it kills you faster. So like technically it shortens your
So that's why
lifespan.
men don't live that long.
That's one of the theories. Yeah,
It just a theory.
yeah.
Okay.
The more
Yeah.
testosterone you have, the harder it is. It's obviously one of many factors, but it's like yeah.
Isn't capsaicin also poison that was designed explicitly to make things not
Yeah,
eat it?
yeah,
And
yeah.
then
It
we're
I'm
like,
not
is.
sure
oh
you
yes,
count that
I
as a
want
poison
this.
because it wasn't designed to kill anything, just deter stuff.
Yeah.
Really?
Well, it could. I
Yeah, it
mean,
was just designed to deter everything that wasn't a bird.
we're just like
Gotcha.
that's like considering it was made that way. No, it's just something developed.
It's something,
Yeah.
Yeah.
right? Okay, it's something that developed, but it never developed to kill anything, just to deter stuff.
Yeah. I mean, it worked because obviously there's a lot of capsaicin plants, so it deterred enough that it
Really,
survived.
really tasty capsaicin plants.
Yeah, but then we came along and we're weird.
We made them even spicier.
Exactly.
We're culinary masochists.
hmm
We really
We
are.
really are. Like some of the things, like we're not even talking about like the really weird foods. Like I think like I used to watch Anthony
Deep
Bourdain
fried milkshake.
rest his soul, but like Anthony Bourdain like really went out of his way to try stuff. Like he
Oh yeah, no,
tried
he had some
he
adventures.
had pig rectum, and that was like I didn't even know you could eat a rectum. But I mean I'm not surprised. But like it's just the weirdest thing. Like they literally cut the asshole out of a
Waste not,
pig.
want not, I suppose.
They push the poop out.
I,
They throw it in the fire, and then they give it for like 2 seconds, and they give it to him.
Wait, so it's basically
only
just pig
2 seconds.
asshole?
Well, maybe like, but like they basically just threw it in the fire and then like pulled it out soon after and gave it to him. Like it was like it was less. It's
I'd
got to
like
be
them. I'd want him to cook it a little longer, just in case. Like
right.
pork can
That's
carry
just what they
stuff.
did, and
It's a
he no selled it. He popped it in his mouth, and he's like, "It's interesting," and didn't make his face or anything. and it was like, God
Good.
damn,
Good on
dude,
him.
because they didn't even
I wonder if
clean.
it's like a meaty
Like,
donut.
I don't care about like them. I wouldn't care about them like cooking it for too long, but they didn't clean it. They just squeezed out the poop. That's it. They
Well,
didn't
I
like.
mean, if you throw it in a fire for long enough, it's not. It will kill all the bad stuff that's in the
It
poop.
won't kill the taste. The taste of the poop. That's it.
It'll burn off the taste of the poop.
It's more flavor.
Maybe.
It's how you season it. It seasons itself.
Yeah, they just literally threw it in the coals and gave it to him, and he's like, meaty donut. Is that what you said earlier?
I
I'm
did say
glad you
meaty
made that
donut,
joke
yes.
because I was trying to find an interjection time to ask if it was basically a meaty donut, and then you jumped in on it. I was like,
Goddamn
yes,
twins.
someone got it.
That's what you get for having both of us. That's your fault.
Yeah.
Speaking of a twin thing, something that I found out by talking with other twins, DeadSlayer, remember how like whenever we went to a ice cream place, we'd always get like wildly different orders, and like
No,
our,
but
our
I'll
orders were
accept
super
it.
weird. Okay.
I remember like the SpongeBob pop that never looked like SpongeBob.
Oh, I remember that one.
But I'm
It always
talking places
melts.
like Cold Stone.
Cool.
Well, you're two different
I
people.
remember
Why
liking
would you like the same
the
thing?
coffee ice cream, and you hate coffee.
No,
I
but
like it.
what would happen is like we'd each order like really weird stuff. Like
She liked the Rudy
so
Tooty
like
Fresh and Fruity ones.
I
Oh,
like
nice.
a bunch of fruit stuff, a lot of chocolate with a lot of like gummy bears and like all the different toppings and like just weird flavor combinations and like mint.
Okay.
And he would also get weird flavor combinations. And like I've been talking to like other twins like when we were in school, and apparently that's a twin thing that just happens.
What, you
Or
like
at
different
least, but
things?
I mean, this is all anecdote. No, that whenever we go to an ice cream shop where you can get like a bunch of different flavor combinations, apparently a lot of twins go for like the really weird ones.
I think that's bullshit. I'm sorry, but I feel like that's
That
like
just
that's
sounds like a matter of taste.
yeah, it does because like I feel like I think
It,
like there's a lot of twin things
I'm
that sound
saying
like
it's
bullshit.
anecdotal, but
Yeah,
I'm saying it's anecdotal, but like every twin I've talked to when we talked about like ice cream stuff,
yeah,
all their orders were always like really, really weird combinations.
yeah. She
Yeah,
only
my
has
really weird
she only has
combination of Rocky Road and coffee.
she only has anecdotal evidence. Now, if she had anecdotal evidence, that'd be different.
This whole podcast is anecdotal evidence. What do you mean? We're just talking about our life experiences.
Yeah, not anecdotal at all.
Oh, whatever.
When you misspell in real life. Like, are there any weird foods that you would be interested in trying?
Ooh,
I'm trying to
Like,
think.
especially like the ones that would normally, like, if you were given the option, probably not under normal circumstances, but if you were feeling especially adventurous.
I would really like to try. And again, I said I like fermented food, but that doesn't mean I like all fermented foods. I really want to
You gonna think
try.
of bird?
No, no, fuck that, dude. That's beyond. I never want to try that.
Don't fuck that bird.
No.
It doesn't add any flavor.
No, it's like it's the fucking it's kind of like spami or something. It's like it's something they eat in Scandinavia every once a year, and it's they just kill a shark and they hang it outside for like 2 months, and then you eat it.
They don't do anything to it. They just hang it out there, and
They
it
just
just
hang it out there.
decomposes.
Well, it
They dry it.
ferments. Yeah, they dry it. It's in a drying rack exactly, but that just literally means they hang it there. You know,
That
for
is
like
weird to imagine, like the smoked salmon that we get exactly like you get what maybe 20% of the fish because
But
the
they don't
rest is
cook
just
it.
dried crap.
but they don't cook it. They just eat it as is.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's one of those things where like they
I would
all
join
eat
you in
it.
trying that
Yeah,
if
right.
given
They
the
all eat
opportunity.
it. Like it's a yearly thing they do. I think they're getting flack because it is a shark, and sharks have a lot of mercury in them. So it's like it's a
I mean,
code.
don't most fish have mercury in them?
The higher up the food chain, the more because they accumulate more mercury. So that's why you
Probably 'cause they're
shouldn't.
eating more
just-
fish that also have mercury.
Exactly. That's
I
exactly
just
why.
looked stuff up and I found jalapeno honey ice cream.
That actually sounds
I'm sorry.
interesting.
Right?
So-
That
Hmm.
sounds good.
So actually, I had a burger from Wendy's that would
Hmm?
like they had this weird thing going on where it's like some Rick and Morty theme going on.
Okay.
One of the burgers was a like a spicy jalapeno honey glazed burger.
Ooh, that sounds
Ooh.
good.
That
Yeah, it
sounds
was
good.
Yeah.
sweet, it was
Jinx.
spicy, it was savory, it was actually pretty good. I'm not a fan of jalapeno flavor in general, but it was actually pretty good. I liked it. You would not like it, Marigold, because it also had a fried pickle discs.
Oh my god.
I could just ask for the pickles to be removed. That's
Yes, you could.
easy.
So what I was talking about earlier is called hakaral, and is Icelandic, and so literally they cut a shark's head off and they cure it for 6 months out in the out in the shed, and they eat it. And apparently it's like, so it smells like fish and ammonia. And I don't know, like, do you know much about seafood?
Depends what you mean by what do I know of seafood.
So when seafood breaks down, the ammonia breaks down. So if something smells like ammonia, that means it's rotten.
It's bad.
Oh, like how
Yeah.
fish smell like fish?
No, no, no. Pneumonia is
It's fine
literally
if it
is a
smells like
different
fish,
smell.
but if
It's
it
cat
starts smelling
piss.
like
Cat
yeah, you
piss.
don't want
Yeah,
to.
Hmm.
cat piss has high ammonia in it, so it'll smell like fish and cat piss, basically.
Gotcha.
It's a much worse smell. Like, it takes a while for it to break down, but when it does, you can smell it, man. It's real. It hits you. It goes right through your nose. It's even harder than it's a really sharp smell. So it'll go right through the fish smell. So I don't know.
Oof.
Like for me, I would have to not smell it. You know what I mean? Because like if I smell it, that's gonna kill me.
You know,
That
it's not a weird dish exactly, but because it's pretty common in its area. I would actually be interested in trying haggis.
ooh,
I
I
wouldn't
would
ask for
too.
much. I would
Yeah,
I would try like a
Disgusting.
small portion.
same here.
You're
James.
Marigold,
dead to
any
me.
weird foods you'd be interested in?
See, I'm going through my YouTube history because I know I've seen a few like really weird baking stuff, and I'm looking for it. Do you remember Super Robot Monkey Team Hyperforce Go?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Okay, do you remember how like there was the carnival episode at where they where Otto combined popcorn and cotton candy, and it's not that weird, but like for some reason I just could never actually get
I
popcorn and
remember
cotton
you
candy for like
tried that.
years and years and years. Yeah, I eventually tried it like once I was like 16, and it was actually really good, and I highly recommend it. But like for some reason, I'm counting this as weird food only because it was so hard to find.
I mean, I remember this one
Make our
time.
own.
Yeah, like you made it with the cotton candy maker and the popcorn maker we had,
Oh
and
Yeah, we had movie theater butter and everything. It was great.
wow.
yeah, I loved having cotton candy. I hated the machine that we made it with
Oh.
because it was fucking terrifying.
It's
Because
hot,
it's
probably. You gotta melt it.
worse than that. It's
Worse than
you.
that, it would throw the
It's
cotton strands all over the house.
Oh
I
yeah.
think
So we had
that's
to
the
lock it,
scary part. You
and we
never
had
made
to
it.
like.
Like so. Let me tell you how this machine
I made the Jolly
operates.
Rancher stuff.
You have the plastic casing, and where you put the sugar is this little metallic disc, this really thin disc, not thin enough to be a blade, but like it's still pretty thin,
Okay.
like a thick fingernail.
Yeah.
And and then in that disc is a little opening where you pour the sugar in, and then like when the disc heats up, it's spinning so that the sugar would like fly to the side inside the disc, and then it'll be thrown around in strands. The way this disc was attached to the machine was there was a metal stick underneath the disc, and the disc had a little slot that you just slide it in. There was no locking mechanism. It was just like the pressure of the slot that you put it on the freaking stick. So you have this really hot metal, almost a blade, spinning incredibly fast. Basically, exactly like those toys where you pull a string, it spins and it launches the disc out.
Oh shit.
And it was the exact same design, just really hot and metal. And it would spin really quickly. And it would make a lot of noise as you were using it. It was terrifying to work with.
He's just a coward.
What? No.
I think any sane person should be terrified of having their hand near a like very precariously like somewhat stationary yet really rapidly spinning disc that's hot enough to melt sugar.
Well, you just pour the
Yeah.
sugar over it. You don't have to put your hand that close.
How do you think you
Or you
get the cotton
get like
candy?
you put the sugar in the little hole. You pour it in
Oh
using like a
Then
my.
how
cup
do
or
you
funnel or something.
retrieve the cotton candy?
By using a stick. You don't put your hand anywhere near that. You put your
You
hand
have to
on
reach
one
into
end
the
of the stick.
machine. You've seen me make it.
You put the stick in the machine. You don't put your hand in there.
Your hand is over the disc. If it goes straight up, it's going to hit your hand.
What? Nah, one of us is remembering this wrong. I don't remember having to put my hand near that in order to get cotton candy, and I made Jolly Rancher cotton candy all the time.
Fight,
I'll
fight,
show
fight.
you at some other point. I also remember another time. This
Yeah.
isn't a weird food, but this isn't
Oh, is this
related.
the jalapeno? The time we accidentally like pepper gassed ourselves with the popcorn maker?
We? What do you mean we? But that is a
Yeah, that was
separate
Mom.
story.
That was Mom.
So yeah, exactly as she specified, she wanted like jalapeno popcorn, and so the popcorn maker was a little metal pot where you'd pour in some oil, you'd pour in the seeds, you'd turn it on, it heats up, and then it pops out the top.
Yeah.
And into the machine.
Yeah.
So they put in the oil.
That was Mom.
Whoever did it, I don't think I was there for the actual making of it. I was only gas out of my room. So they put in the kernels and then the oil. And did you put in like actual jalapenos or did you just use the juice that it came in?
No, what happened is Mom put actual jalapenos in the thing on top of the kernels. It tasted really good. It was almost worth it, but oof, that hurt.
Yeah, there was a really thick smoke of burning, like basically if you had those vapor things where you put in the oil and it makes the
Oh
little
yeah.
vapor around
Is
the room.
that thick?
Basically that with jalapeno.
I did the same thing where like I used to make my own popcorn as well because it's a great thing to do. But what I would do is that
Oh, yeah,
I knew that
absolutely.
I didn't trust using the oil one for making my own stuff because I didn't want to make something with oil when I was just gonna add something later. So I would air pop it, you know, and I would make that, and then I'd make what I was gonna put into it, and then put it on it. Like I used to make like really good. I would get butter, then I would add like cayenne, and I'd add a little bit of what do you call it? Parmesan cheese, garlic, dehydrated onion, and just a couple other things too, just to make it, and like seasoned salt, and it would make it taste amazing. But the first time I did it, I wasn't quite sure what I wanted to do, so I decided to put in Tabasco. Not a bad idea, except I put it in first in a hot pan,
Ooh.
and I gassed the entire room. And it's just like,
Oopsies.
and it just this huge thing, and I just was like, and it went right into my lungs, and I'm just like, I
Yep.
couldn't breathe, and I'm like, oh my god, I was like, why did I do this to myself? I eventually I learned how to make it good, so I have a really good mix that I usually make and put on
Nice.
popcorn. But like, man, it took me a lot of trial and error to do that.
I'm glad you didn't gas yourself to death.
I know, right? Oh shoot, I almost
Try
did.
harder.
I'll tell like this isn't a how I almost stuffed myself episode, but I'll tell you because it's thing. I was trying to cook something in the oven, but every time I did, it would get like, something was in there that was crusty. So I washed the oven, right? I cleaned the oven out, and then it wasn't my oven. I was actually working for some at the time, and then they had this like oven cleaner. They're like, "Oh, try using this," and I'm like, "All right." I didn't know that oven cleaner had an expiry date,
Ooh.
so I
Oh,
used
no.
it. Literally gassed the house. Like we had to get out.
Oh
Like
damn.
I could. It literally felt like tear gas. My eyes and my throat and my stuff. Luckily, everyone was outside already.
Jesus, man.
But I had to literally vacate the kitchen, and like keep all. I had to open up and like I had told my boss, you can't go back in there. You can't go in there. Like literally, he's like, "What are you doing, man? What are you doing in the kitchen?" I'm like,
I
I'm
bombed
like,
the kitchen. Don't you mean the bathroom?
he
No.
tried to like fucking like blame it on me. He's like, "Well, you shouldn't have been doing that." I'm like, "Dude, I literally used the thing that you have in there that says oven cleaner that you told me to clean the oven with." And he's like, "Well, maybe you did it wrong." I'm like, what am I doing wrong? I sprayed it and I cleaned it. There's nothing to go. I even tried to get it off
You
with water,
sprayed it
and
wrong.
yeah, and apparently it went bad. And that, yeah, so that was pretty bad. I had to wait for it to clear it and then scrub it again. That took me a long
Sounds kind of
time.
like when I learned that fire extinguishers can expire. Fortunately, I didn't learn this
Yeah.
firsthand.
Oh,
But when I found like the boring company that originally sold like the basically DIY fire extinguisher flamethrowers, and I was like, wait, those are actually flammable?
they're not fire extinguishers. They're literal flamethrowers.
No, because like there was a thing with like using expired fire extinguishers because like the foam when it expires
Oh
is
yeah, yeah,
highly flammable,
yeah, yeah.
which is kind of ironic.
Just a tad.
I live for
A
the
bit
irony.
dangerous.
Oh yeah, don't try that at home. If you do, send me the video. I want to see.
Oh boy, no,
No.
no, 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 James, no, no, no.
And we're going to cut him off from talking by moving on to something else. All right, so Berserker had just won some award or something, and my mom, and Berserker's dad were all driving home from that thing, and mom offered to make Berserker anything he wanted for dinner for like
Oh,
winning the thing. Yeah, very sweet, right? Now Berserker is a little shit, so
all right.
Berserker
She's not
decided
wrong.
that no, I'm not. Berserker decided that, it would be really funny if he just said something that didn't exist, just a random nonsense word. So he looked her dead in the eye through like the mirror and said, "I want footsie." Now Berserker's dad immediately like, "Dude, no, pick something that's real. Like, what are you talking about?" And mom goes, "No, no, no. I said he could have whatever he wanted. The boy wants footsie. He's going to get footsie." And at this point, Berserker started to panic. You can see it in his eyes.
So you didn't know what the fuck he chose.
Yeah, no one knew what he meant. Mom didn't know what he meant, but she was going to make it. By God. What she ended up doing was she made like a meatloaf in the shape of a foot
Oh,
with celery
ugh,
bones,
ew,
ketchup blood, uh, little olives as the toes, with like the little toes being green olives, but the big toe being a black olive, so it looked like it had fungus.
ew.
I did not partake in dinner that evening,
Yeah,
but it was beloved by Berserker's family.
I think I would have done the
DeadSlayer,
same.
did you like footsie?
Uh, if it's what I'm vaguely remembering, it was just a meatloaf. Like
Yeah,
I
it was
like
basically
meatloaf.
just a meatloaf. Footsie's story does not end there though, because like a few months later in English class, our teacher had us like write an essay about food that was like important to our family, and said that we were going to have a party while we were reading our essays out loud to the class, and so we should bring food from said essays.
Uh-oh.
Now, unfortunately, our family food is only important when it's dramatic. So, in my essay, I talked about footsie, the Killer King cake, and bunbo. And I brought a little miniature footsie to class with me.
Oh boy.
And to my shock and horror, nobody wanted any footsie. Like, can you believe
Yeah.
that? So insulted.
And then it walked home with you.
I wish that would have been hilarious. I think I gave it to my teacher. I somehow foisted it on her.
The Adams family had their animated hand. We had this meatloaf foot that just bounced around.
Emergency food
The
supply.
54 family. James, do you want to talk about Bunbo?
I mean, there's not much to talk about for that one. Just so it was about Easter time, and Marigold and myself, being the cynical shits we are, we were joking about eating the Easter bunny for dinner
Oh,
because we were asked what we wanted for dinner if we wanted anything special, and we don't care. So
Watership Down
we were
too.
just like, we would like to have the Easter bunny. And so mom eventually, like, we were joking, and so mom decided to go to just like some grocery store. I
At
think it was
6 in the morning.
Shoppers or something. Yeah,
Like 2 hours away.
Uh,
exactly. And because not many places had bunny for some reason. And so she eventually found somewhere with bunny and brought it back and made a gumbo out of it. And
oh.
so I was one of the few times I was truly shocked at something.
That she actually made bunny gumbo.
Yeah, she
Yeah.
made bunny gumbo. We had bunny gumbo that dinner. I went on a hunger strike and went back up to my room.
Marigold was in
Dead
tears. I
Slayer.
was speechless for the first.
You
Normally,
were
I
in
have
tears.
something.
I was speechless. You were crying.
You were too, but like normally, I have some witty remark. I couldn't think of anything. I was too shocked, and that was impressive.
Oh no, you're remembering that one wrong because like I was angry. You were crying. I went up to my room and I hear from downstairs like as he's sobbing, Mom
It's
asked,
delicious.
yeah, just and then he like takes a bite, starts crying harder. Mom says, "What's wrong?" He said, "It's delicious."
It was. It
Oh.
was pretty good.
They are made
It
out
tasted-
of good food.
I mean, you know how like people say everything tastes like alligator, or not alligator, it tastes like chicken.
He has had alligator.
Yeah, I've had alligator.
I
He
have
said it
had
tastes like
alligator.
Yeah,
marshmallow.
so have
It
I.
also tastes like chicken.
It does taste like
But
chicken. I was surprised.
It and bunny, like bunny tastes kind of like slightly off chicken, but it's pretty comparable to chicken. If you want bunny, have chicken, and I don't know, make it slightly sweeter. You're about there. It's cheaper.
Is it?
Probably. I can't imagine bunny being that, cheap.
I
by the
think
pound.
rabbits need more care than chickens do.
No, they don't. You can just make.
That,
yeah,
that
No, they
would make
don't. Yeah. They're the same. They're exactly the same, except they breed faster.
Alrighty then. Start buying bunnies, everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What my
self-replenishing chicken nuggets.
what my teacher told me is that it's not bunnies that you want. You want guinea pigs, because
True.
because
Guinea
guinea
pigs are
pigs-
like really easy to breed, right?
they breed at the same level as rabbits, but you can eat them quicker.
And
They-
you could feed them like table scraps.
Yeah, so they breed just as fast as a bunny. They eat more than a wider range than a bunny. They taste just as good because they've been bred to taste good. And apparently you can eat them within a year. With bunnies, I think it takes a little longer. You have to like really fatten them up. But with guinea pigs, they take about a year to be edible, to be like substantially
if we
edible.
really want to talk about meat that's easy and sustainable, what you want to do is you want to start raising crickets.
Yeah, I've heard of bug bars and shit like that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You can get a surprising amount of meat in a very small amount of space with very minimal like actual effort involved on your part.
I remember hearing that like for the size of land that it takes to make one dairy farm, you can create much more protein from like a bug farm, and it's not as environmentally destructive.
So yeah, bugs are the future.
The problem is that like bugs are only good as like a supplement. They're not tasty as they are. They have too much acid. So really, they're only good as a
So
supplement.
they're
you know?
sour.
Yeah, so that's what I've heard. Like I've had bugs before, and my thing was just I think I got too grossed up with the fact it was a bug. But like they don't really have a.
The
thing
thing
is-
have to be raised to not think bugs were gross.
Yeah, I mean I've had like a cricket before that you sprinkle stuff on, but where they put tahini on. But I think it's just the tahini.
Yeah.
It's the thing is it's a very neutral taste. It's either a little bitter or too neutral. So honestly,
Well, neutral means you could add a bunch of spices. That's not so bad.
yeah, but then in the end, but that means you're just really eating up spice at that point. So the whole point of bugs, really, in my opinion, like really, is just it's not for the taste. It's just for like because they're easy to make. It's easy to make like food out of them.
I mean, chicken's a fairly mild taste too, though. Like I
Yeah.
feel like that is a benefit.
But I really like chicken. But chicken has fat. That's the
wonder
big
if Popeyes is
difference.
Still open.
We need to open a Popeyes like chain, but with crickets.
No, that's another topic. If I were to open a shop,
Like the thing is, like
Alright,
fat
we'll do
makes a
that.
big difference when it comes to meat, and proteins. Because if proteins because that's where
Yeah, fat
the
makes it
taste.
taste good.
That's where the taste of because I don't understand why people like thick steak. I don't. I like marble steak because it has fat in it. It makes it taste good. I don't like pure meat. I don't know why people do.
You're not enough of a carnivore, man.
I guess I'm not. I eat a lot of meat. I just like it with fat. Isn't that more realistic though? Like if I'm a carnivore, I'd be going after the fat ones. I'd be going the fat
You
one that
would
is
be going
slower.
after the fat ones
I would go
because
after the
fat has
lean
more
ones.
calories.
Exactly. I
However,
wouldn't go after the lean ones. However, yeah, you said however.
I didn't have anything else to add to that, really.
Why would you start off if you didn't have anything else?
She thought she could argue
Well, that's kind of how this podcast works.
it.
Well, that's your fault.
Your face is your fault.
Your face is your fault.
Your butt is your fault.
Your mom's your fault.
Your dad's your fault.
Your sister's your fault.
Your brother's your fault.
I don't have a brother.
I don't have a sister. Anyway, I guess that's all the time we have for today. Thank you for joining us in this semi-toxic discussion. Please remember to like, subscribe, and comment your either favorite foods, weird foods you'd like to try, or foods you wish you never had tried down below.
Bye, everyone. Make sure to eat well.
Bye.
Or not.
Cheers.